Outstanding. So the introduction you gave me, you're making me blush, embarrassing me, but that's okay. I'm modest, low key, humble, and shy, like everyone else in the audience. That being said, the theme of today's conversation in terms of managing global obesity is the importance of a collaborative relationship between various sectors of the health, wellness, and fitness communities. The also is the consideration of empowerment strategies where we can work with our customers who are in various stages of their journeys to success, and the key issues that their journeys to success and our role from the health and fitness sector to make them comfortable, feel safe, secure, to get the results that's specific and unique to them. So that being said, 2024, we heard across the globe what we call the rising GLP-1 noise syndrome. It was loud. It was tremendous. And the noise talked to the global obesity epidemic, the income growth from the pharmaceutical, or for the pharmaceutical companies, basically. We're looking at the GLP magic bullet, the increase in GLP-1 demands, the resulting GLP-1 shortages, the windfall, the potential windfall for the fitness sector. And also there's this noise about one size fits all, where all we have to do is provide resistance training and everyone will be successful. It didn't really make sense. So we tried to say, okay, let's get through this noise and let's really peel this back to see exactly what's going on in terms of this community in this space. So in order to get through this noise, a colleague of mine, Ann Gilbert, and myself, we created a series of ALM, anti-obesity medication think pieces. We developed 11 different articles that started to peel back all this noise so we can get through it and really understand what it meant. And the consideration through the articles talked about problem solving solutions that were specific to the customers who were coming into our facilities, not just locally or nationally, but globally as well. We had to get through the noise and start looking at this. So the objective from a fitness wellness sector perspective is proof of concept. Do we actually have the cultural mindset, the cultural environment, the operational needs, and the programming opportunities to be able to support these customers coming in on their various journeys of success? So who are we? I was briefly introduced. Just to recap, 13 years in corporate America, 30 plus years in club operations, programming, customer experience, group exercise, personal training, and being a global educator for 22 plus years. And on the other side, has 38 years plus women's only club health and wellness. Notice there's no fitness phrase in there, specifically looking at health and wellness, looking at working with active and inactive adults. She's also a programming specialist in land-based programming, but also aquatics-based programming, something very different and very unique. She has 18 plus years as an educator, and she's been a club owner and an operator. So we bring together these two distinct, different, but relatively closely knit sets of experiences to speak to the needs of our customers. So after the 11 articles were done, Anne successfully launched her My Future Me anti-obesity medication support program. So we're going to explore what it was that she did, what it was that we did collectively to launch successfully a targeted support program for individuals who are on various stages of their journey to success. So we have 4 objectives today. We're looking at basically her program as a case study, number 1. Number 2, we're going to review obesity in relationship to the health and fitness sector. Number three, we're going to review the value of professional collaboration. And we're also going to review a series of program planning assumptions to make this thing come to life. And this is the key thing, to make it come to life. So, in the past, the fitness sector was so focused on fitness that we only addressed 20% of the population, and we basically didn't engage the other 80%, which is critical. Post-COVID, we made a decision as a sector to pivot away from fitness and start looking at health and fitness together because of the results of COVID. The challenge, though, is that we were so ingrained culturally in fitness that trying to pivot what I would call that oil tanker was very, very, very difficult. So we're still pivoting, we're still trying to get over, but eventually we will become a fitness, go away from the fitness sector and really create a health and fitness culture that's engaging and is safe. So we're in this transition period right now, but we will get there. Here's how we're going to get there. What is obesity? So from a health and fitness sector standpoint, we had our own warped sense of what obesity was, which was basically wrong, totally wrong. And even today, we still have folks in our sector that don't get it. So how do we define, from our perspective, what obesity is? We ended up working in a collaborative way. We embraced, through networking, the 5 principles of obesity that's been defined by the International Obesity Collaborative, the subject matter experts as far as we're concerned, because we are not those experts. So again, as you look at these points, this makes basically sense. So we are embracing this because we are not the experts. As we wrote these articles, Ann Gilbert and I realized what we didn't know. So first we acknowledged what we didn't know. We had to find the right individuals in a collaborative way to help us get to where we had to get to. And these are those 5 specific points that we've embraced and we've incorporated into our programming options as well. So as we start to break through the noise, we have a series of concepts that help us break through the noise. What are anti-obesity medications? And what are the potential side effects? Again, from our perspective, we are not the experts. So first we have to acknowledge that, we agree, but then we have to go to the experts to help educate us as well. 2 of the leading individuals that helped us become better educated and much more aware was Dr. John Jakisik and Dr. Renee Rogers from the University of Kansas Medical Center. Now, Dr. Rogers is an applied obesity researcher and physical activity expert, and Dr. Jakisik is a senior investigator of obesity. All things about obesity, that's his forte. They are the experts that basically gave us direction on this. And this was our initial engagement and understanding of the power of collaboration. So when the noise started, Renee and John came into our sector and quite honestly and quite boldly said, you guys don't know what you're talking about. and I was in the audience and was in the audience and all their workshops and their seminars and the conferences, and everything they were saying was absolutely right. So they started to educate us. They started to educate our sector as to what is and what is not right. We thanked them tremendously because they were our first reality check of what we did not know as a sector at all. So kudos to Dr. Jakisik and to Dr. Rogers. So based on that, we pulled together these 15 points, which talk to what these drugs are and what the outcome and what the results potentially could be that these folks bring to us in our environment. Absolutely fantastic. We embraced it. And the biggest issue for us, as you look at these 15, as you look at number 12, caloric intake is reduced. So if we're not taking in nutrients, we're going to have low energy levels, which we agree. But then how do you train these folks up when the initial noise was resistance training, resistance training, resistance training, sets and reps? No, no, no. The focus is we have to be able to meet these customers wherever they are, psychologically and physiologically as well. So as we went through this process, it made sense. We embraced it, we moved on, fantastic. But in the middle of all this, another topic came up, weight bias and weight stigma. And honestly, we were talking to one of our leading educators in our sector, and we talked about weight bias and weight stigma. And when we said it to him, we explained to him, he like poo-pooed it. He had no idea of what this looks like. So we had to go through the research and embrace it and talk about it. So now we have embedded in our sector a sensitivity awareness campaign about obesity. Weight bias is real and it's going to impact the outcome for these folks. So back in 2020, IDEA, which is an educational organization within the health and fitness sector, published an article. Cassandra and Natalie published this article, which talked about the challenges with weight stigma, critical. And it was so profound, the initial publication, 2020, it was updated post-COVID, July 9th, 2024, in the middle of all this noise. In the middle of all this noise, kudos to IDEA, kudos to Cassandra and Natalie, because we needed to hear this. These points are absolutely accurate about how bad we are as a sector. And we were in denial. We were in absolute denial. Guess what? It's real. We have to solve this basic problem. We are totally focused on, traditionally, getting fit people fitter. There's something wrong with that. We also had spread this issue about the negative judgment, stigma. Yes, we're guilty. We are absolutely guilty. We have to, through training, destigmatize our industry by focusing on multiple and inclusive body types and images. That's our burden that we have to solve and take ownership on. But again, we have to go through this training process. And we also be able to create and deliver and manage programming options that support the outcome and the goals, the needs and the wants of this community of folks who want to get healthy and well. And number 6, we have to create, as we bring them into our environment, a teaching learning environment that is inviting, supportive, and safe psychologically and physiologically as well. Critical. As we keep peeling back this fruit, who is the customer taking anti-obesity medications? We've identified 2 different categories, category 1 and category 2. In category 1, these are active adults who are taking anti-obesity medications, but because they're active adults, they have a physiological comfort zone with the exercise experience. Psychologically, they're also comfortable with the exercise experience. Category 1. Category 2, different category. Majority of the folks in this area have been inactive adults, are inactive adults. Physiologically, they are uncomfortable with the exercise experience, brand new. They are on the outside looking in. Psychologically, they're uncomfortable also with the exercise experience. So we've broken these 2 down because each category has a different sets of needs and wants and desires based on their experiences. So if we understand the differences, we can program accordingly. But whether they're in category 1 or category 2, our role is to teach, inspire, motivate, and empower. Teach, inspire, motivate, and empower. So Still peeling it back. What is the potential psychological and physiological profile of this customer? And the second part is who and what are obesity advocacy support groups? Now, we've put these together because we recognize what we do not know. And the hardest thing for our sector is the ego. No one wants to admit what they don't know. So because they don't want to admit it, they really cannot appropriately, adequately service these customers at all. However, in our model, we acknowledge what we don't know, and we have to go and get information from subject matter experts whose expertise they have. So this snapshot of obesity advocacy support groups that we've engaged with, embraced, and collaborate with. And if the collaboration is positive enough, the outcome is always going to be customer-centric outcomes. That's the key. So this is where that collaboration comes in at. So for example, we have the Obesity Society as an input on one side and the Obesity Action Coalition. These are the resources that we've tapped into, Ann Gilbert and I, and these are also the resources that our sector must have to tap into to be able to pre-prepare our culture, our programming, and our operations to successfully support the customers in this space. Absolutely critical to make this thing happen. So based on that input, we've broken down the psychological and the physiological side of each. So again, not to go through this, but this is the potential issue we have for our customers coming in. They all won't have this. They'll have a combination. And then the other side, this is what we're looking at as well. So again, we have to understand the physiological and the psychological components of the folks coming into us so we can train our teams up, train our staffs up, precondition our programming options to take this into account. Unless we do this, we will never be successful. So we have to acknowledge what it is we basically don't know. And then on top of that, we have to acknowledge there's this thing we call the psychological roller coaster. This is real. So we may have Mary, for example, that's having a really, really great day on a Friday, but on Monday, she may be taking her meds for her comorbid conditions and or her anti-obesity medications. So Mary on Monday is not the same Mary on Friday. So we have to have flexible programming to address where they are on a Monday versus a Friday. To be sensitive to that takes training and skill sets, which we have to address going forward. So in order to establish our credibility, we have to collaborate with the advocacy community. So for example, this depicts our anti-obesity program and our need to connect with the primary advocacy groups. Now, for example, Ann Gilbert's program is in Tampa, Florida. Tampa, Florida is the home of the Obesity Action Coalition. Primary group, Ann is there, they've connected, fantastic, great. So we have the primary advocacy groups. We also have the local advocacy groups. And the intent is, as we collaborate and build a sense of credibility and trust, we are starting to develop a feeder system, a referral system for folks who have very specific needs, very unique needs, but then we have a facility that can address their specific, their unique, and customized needs. The power of collaboration works, and it works. So again, if the collaboration is successful, the beneficiaries are going to be our customers and the medical practitioners' practices. Win, win, win. That's the goal. That's the intent. That's the objective. Still peeling back that fruit. Because of the customer profile, whether it's category 1 or category 2, is there a need to have access to a professional network? And our response to that based on research, absolutely. What does that look like? This network consists of registered dietitians, medical practitioners. Oh, and yes, we're part of that as well. We're working with telemedicine, telehealth providers. We have physical therapists involved, behavior specialists involved, bodywork specialists involved, all licensed, all certified. We have health coaches. Local pharmacists may have to be involved as well. Hospital-based wellness centers are involved as a potential. And obviously, obesity advocacy support groups are involved as well. But again, this entire network is also being driven to share data based on the execution of proper releases. So again, based on the profile, knowing that we have to stay within the scope of our practice, we need access to this network to make the program successful. But again, everything starts to change. Everything is fluid. We acknowledge what we don't know, and we have to acknowledge who we have to go to get support to give adequate support to our customers, your patients, at the end of the day. Next piece, how does the customer profile, psychological, physiological, impact our program design process as well? One piece of the noise early on was that, oh, we as a sector, that's easy. Based on research, all we have to do is do resistance training. It was loud. It was loud. And Dr. Jakisik and Dr. Renee Rogers, they came out and said, no, 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 no. The issue is, how do you have one solution when everyone brings something different to the table? Absolutely, absolutely correct. We totally, totally get that. But at the end of the day, we call this one solution approach a non-flexible, one-dimensional option, which really doesn't work for anybody because of what they bring to the table at the end of the day. So we've created what we call a blended program in terms of program design. One block talks about movement, activity, exercise, and coaching strategies. Ultimately, we want to get them to exercise, which is more comfortable for folks in category 1. But the reality is folks in category 2 they're never going to deal with exercise. Let's get them to move. Let's get them moving. Let's give them activities. Eventually, long-term exercise, we agree, but not for everyone right away. We have to meet them where they are. Nutritional coaching strategies, again, within the scope of our practice, and lifestyle change coaching. So these 3 building blocks are critical to launch and manage and deliver a successful support program for our customers. The journey is so specific to them, no one size fits all. Everyone will be in a different journey. They're going to start, but they're all not going to take the same pathway depending on what their goals are, their objectives are, and what stage and phase they are in terms of their journey. Old school, the solution is black and white. Our response to that is no. Programming is not black and white. Programming is black and white and gray. And initially, it's more gray than black and white. Eventually, it'll get there, but from a starting point, there's more gray because of the uniqueness of the physiological and psychological profile of our customers. When Renee went out and confronted our sector, she said, one size fits none. I mean, she hammered that into our sector to the point where the sector said, no, 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 no. And Dr. Rogers came back and Dr. Sikisik came back and said, where's your research to support that in relationship to AOMs? The noise started to dissipate. The noise started to come down. But the uniqueness about what we've done, Ann Gilbert and I, based on her background, our programming options for these folks are both land-based and aquatics-based. Land-based and aquatics-based. Totally, totally different and unique. Okay. Given this, still peeling it back, what's the role of staff training in this space? Now, one of our colleagues, Eric Durack, put out a specialist course an obesity management coaching program designed to bring together everything from a collaborative standpoint, from the fitness perspective, the wellness perspective, from the health perspective, as a primer to get our teams ready to address the unique needs of our customers in this basic space. The second piece of information, of training, came from the obesity advocacy support groups. All the references we talked about before, we're pulling this into the teaching and learning process for our teams, our facilities, our staff members as well. Absolutely. Next piece, given all the challenges that we're facing, is there a role for a social support network within our programs? I answer to that, absolutely. We have to create a supportive culture that's driven by collective accountability, mutual support, and mutual respect. And we're going to get into this a little bit more further in, but we definitely have to have a social network where the individual is not by themselves, but the individual belongs to a safe, secure, supportive community, so we can collectively go through the journeys of success together. This isn't about one-on-one, it's about small group, large group, and a sense of community and a sense of belonging. So now, that's the snapshot. Now, how do we make this work from our perspective in a way that everyone wins? Everyone wins is critical. So the program concept, from our perspective, is a work in progress. It's always going to change as we become more aware of more issues and challenges and opportunities. But one thing we can say, our only absolute, is that there are no absolutes. Everything's flux, everything's in fluid. Again, be able to address the needs of our customers, your patients. So, first planning assumption, we define what we're going to deliver them. We're not going to deliver them a one-dimensional solution at all. We're going to deliver for them a blended, comprehensively blended building block. We have to understand the customer profiles, category 1, category 2. Now, because of 1 and 2, we're recommending that we have to do an operational review, or the club or studio would have to do an operational review of the current business model to see if they can actually support this demographic profile, because we have very specific needs, unique needs, wants, and goals. Why should they come in? Why should they stay? Why should they refer to our programs? So again, we have to make this assumption come to life. We have to define the program, mission, vision, values. Absolutely. This is our mission. If they're serious to create customer-centric operational and programming strategies that support positive outcomes for individuals using anti-obesity medications. Support positive outcomes. The vision, to deliver and manage a comprehensive series of blended, customer-centric programming options that support these individuals as well. Values, a sense of community. These are a series of reasons for individuals to join, to stay engaged, and to refer their friends, family members, and colleagues to our organization. So, based on the last 3 slides, we created a series of branded reasons for folks to join our programs. This is a grid, our customer-centric support program. These 14 points as a minimum, not absolutes, but as a minimum, we create a real sense of community. We create a safe place. We create a love to skin your environment. We create a non-judgmental atmosphere, genuine camaraderie, peer group support, and accountability. It's all about the experience. It's about feeling good. It's about mutual respect. It's about having a positive customer onboarding process that's built around coaching support, sincere empathy, having an authentic, inclusive culture, and having a community outreach program where we can go into the community, give folks a sense of why they should come in, why they should stay, and why they should refer, and get the results they basically want. Again, the success of the grid is tied to each individual's emotional profile. So we've identified 11 emotional sweet spots. Number one, from their perspective, deciding to make a change is emotional. We have to understand that. Looking for a solution specific to their needs is going to be emotional. Making that appointment is emotional. Showing up by walking in the door, it's emotional. Having the discussion with us and feeling secure to have that discussion is emotional. We listening, or them listening to us, is emotional, and we listening to them is emotional. Waiting for us to ask them to commit is emotional. Showing up for that appointment is emotional. Coming back after that appointment is emotional as well. And sticking with the program is emotional. We connect our job. We connect the emotional dots by building a positive relationship. Positive, authentic, customer-centric relationship based on what their needs, their goals, and their wants and desires are. We meet the customer where they're at on their journey to success and take them where they want to go. Now, where they want to go is going to change as they hit different success benchmarks. So where they are on day one, on month one, is not the same on day 90, month 4, 5, 6, and beyond. So it's evolving and it's basically changing. We're also going to have a series of flexible programming options. Definitely. Again, we call this flexible programming strategy, and the focus is having the ability to adjust their journeys as needed. Going back to the issue with Maria. Maria was having a great time, very dynamic on a Friday. She takes her meds on a Monday, and because of the meds, she may not be as strong and focused on Monday as she was on Friday till she gets over the side effects of the drugs on Monday. So maybe she gets better on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have to be sensitive to that and be able to adjust accordingly. Again, meeting them where they're at. We call this our physical activity continuum, which has 3 different parts. The first issue, movement. Second issue, activity. Ultimate, exercise. Again, category 1 may embrace exercise sooner than later, but category 2, let's get them to move basically. One size does not fit all. This is Robin. Robin joins the program with Ann Gilbert, and Ann meets her, greets her. First thing Robin says out of her mouth, I am not going on the fitness floor. No problem. How about coming in the pool? Oh, I can do that. She gets to the pool. That's her smile. So Ann, sensing how comfortable she is, asks Robin, can I take your picture in our pool? Yeah, take my picture. Takes a picture. That's Robin right there. Now, Ann being pushy in a nice way, Robin, since you're so happy, can we post this on social media? Oh, yeah. This came off of Facebook. Robin was happy, safe, secure, and comfortable in Ann's pool. There's something about Ann's program that basically works. We love it. So again, this summary captures the benefits of aquatics programming. And again, it's not them being in the pool by themselves. They're in there with other folks in the program. So again, that social support network is in there to make them comfortable, and they're getting a physiological response. They're getting a psychological response that sets the tone for that rest of that day. Interesting. Yes, we agree it works. Here we are. We're in the park. When they're ready. Now, think of the psychological issues that have been overcome. They decided to leave the security of the 4 walls to go into a park outside. Psychologically, how did they get there? It's a support they were given inside to make them feel comfortable coming outside. We like that. We like that. When they're ready, lifting weights. We like that. We like that. Again, the focus is we onboard them. We have them in a area of starting point specific to meet their needs, and everybody's journey is totally different. And we call this again flexible, multidimensional set of options to make this basically happen. This is the service program that Ann has, and as you can see, everything's in blocks of success. Nothing's long term. 4, 8, 12 weeks. They have access to group exercise classes, one-on-one training, two-on-one, but because of the nature of their needs, they'll tend to gravitate more into more group exercise classes, more into small group, large group. We also have a health and coaching option when they're ready, initially, to get them through the transition coming into a fitness wellness facility. We get that. But every option we have here with Ann is built around land-based programming and aquatics-based programming as well. So we can pick and choose. We have the flexibility to basically make this work. Okay. Again, planning assumption 7, creating a professional and licensed certified group that keeps us within the scope of our practice. So right now, we saw this before. This is our network, our licensed certified network of support. We have our social network as well, internally initially, and to take this outside eventually, where the support is there for them as they need it inside and outside our facility. Again, we saw this picture before, but more importantly, these are the benefits that we've established and practice all the time to support our folks in the program. 1 through 5 speaks for itself, and 6 through 10 speaks for itself as well. Overall, resiliency is absolutely critical. Customer social support outcome, supportive resiliency, not in isolation. Notice the word supportive. This is critical. As we get further along in the process, this gets to be more critical. That's how we know we're working. The sense of community is strength, totally embedded for our folks. We have to train our staff. We totally agree. We have hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are the technical skills. Soft skills are relationship building skills that we don't really have strength in, except after we are told we need it to support very specific customers. Again, we have Eric Dirac's program, his coaching program. We have support coming from the advocacy groups. We totally agree. But we need to focus on emotional intelligence. This is our Achilles heel. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify and manage emotions. What's good about emotional intelligence is not so much the customer's emotions. For us to do that, we have to manage our emotions, our problems, our drama, our hand up. To the extent we're successful with that, we're better able to support our customers as well. So again, EI is the art and science of personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Science is black and white. The challenge is the art form, which is gray. That's the uniqueness about being able to embrace this concept as we work with folks who are in different stages of their journey to success to make this happen. It's the ability to process emotional information, particularly as it involves the perception, assimilation, understanding, and management of emotions. This is real. This is real. This is beyond sets and reps to be successful. Again, a roller coaster. Without the EI training or EQ training, this is what's going to happen. We have to be able to address this and support this. So again, we improve our listening skills, the spoken and the unspoken, have programming expertise that's flexible, coaching skills that are flexible, problem-solving skills that are flexible. We have to build trust, authentic trust, the concept of group of the team. We create and manage a community. Our value propositions we have to deliver and support and manage. Our empowerment skill sets all come together. Perfect balance. IQ, hard skills, EQ, soft skills. But Bob, why is EQ not EI? Because our psychologist collaborators comrades said to us, EI is just as profound as IQ. Let's change this from EI to EQ. Have at it. They're the experts. We deliver the expertise. That's why it's EQ and not EI. That being said, and the winner is the customer and the program. We call this our win-win scenario. It's all about that customer. Again, everything we've talked about is embedded in Ann's program. This is our story. Questions, thoughts, comments. What do we think? Are we that crazy here? Are we trying to do Mission Impossible? Because right now, Ann's program is working, and Ann's been asked with myself to do a case study presentation at the World Obesity Conference 2025 in Orlando this year. And we're going to do that, number one. Number two, I have just moved from Boca Raton, Florida to Omaha, Nebraska, where the obesity rate for adults is 39% plus or minus. We are starting to build a second program here based on our story. What do you think? Ready for questions?